But yeah, speaking of football, anyway, I have actually set up a fantasy league team
Okay, me too.
on fantasy.premierleague.com.
Me too.
And it's been a kind of ritual for me over the past few seasons. I was never really into fantasy football that much, but it just became something to focus on every week, pass the time, maybe have a look at the players that are performing for other teams.
Me too.
Me too. Uh, so KB, let's go through your team first. What is the name of your team
So my
to
name
start with?
is Bottle FC because we're a
I mean,
bunch
they're
of
quite
bottle
apt
jobs.
for a Tottenham supporter, I would say.
Yep, exactly. That is what it's based off, as well as my FIFA Ultimate Team name. What about yours?
So mine is called Hangover 96 Rob Nil.
Hangover, as in like drinking hangover. Nice. I
Yeah,
like that.
as in Hanover
Yeah.
96, team from Germany.
What are the cleverest fancy names you've heard?
Oh, there's so many. I think Netflix and Chilwell is a good one.
The dirtiest one I've heard is She Licked My Teep.
Oh, no need for that. Jesus.
No.
Finding Timo. That's a good one.
Finding Timo. I like that.
I'm just going through some list of some of the leagues that I'm a part of. There's got to be some metal ones in here. What have we got here? The Wizard of Urzel.
But he's not a
Yeah.
wizard. He's more
He's
of like
not so much, not in my eyes. He's
more
not
like
definitely.
Lancelot.
Obi-Wan Iwobi. I like that. Hello there.
A Kiss from a Danny Rose.
Brilliant.
Silver Lining.
Oh, I like this one. FC Sound Attack. Clutch reference. Very nice.
Nice. When Harry Met Ali is one of my favourites.
Kill Switch and GOG.
Kill Switching Gog.
Kill Switch and Go, I guess
Ah.
is how you pronounce it. David on Go. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah, Hanging by a Thread. That's unique to his Fred in himself. Anyway, what would Manu think in buying him for that much? I have no idea, but that's
Trapped Under Rice. I like that.
Ah, yes, that's good.
Enter Shaqiri. I mean, that's quite obvious.
Yeah, Enter Shaqiri. What have we got? Well, I've just said Kiss from a Danny Rose. K Hills Have Eyes.
Ah,
Turn
nice.
the other Loftus cheek.
We could go on and on and on. That's the whole thing about fantasy football is you got to come up with a good pun name.
No Cane, no gain.
Okay. Gilfy Pleasures.
Me, my Delph, and I.
Oh, shall we just dedicate the whole rest of this episode to just coming up with fantasy team puns?
Yeah. Obi-Wan and Iwobi.
Yeah. I already said that one.
Curl. Oh, have you? Oh.
Yeah. That's why I said hello there.
Alder Smarlings.
Dini in a bottle.
Oh man.
I mean, he's just been relegated, so ha. Yeah, so if you do want to join our fantasy league, you can do. I'm stalling because I need to find the link. Let's see. The code to join this league, this is on fantasy.premierleague.com. The code to join this fantasy league is SZ38MV, all lowercase.
Okay.
We'll probably put a link to that in the YouTube video once we get this up. So my team, basically, do you want to go through your team first?
Yeah,
Kieran?
but before I do, I'll put that link in the Discord. So for people who are fans of football and want to join along, follow my Discord, and yeah, I'll be happy to put that in there. I've just created a sports thread now anyway, to talk about anything, just sports really. But with that said, so my goalkeeper, and keep in mind when it comes to these Premier teams, you're based on a budget, so sometimes you'll have to play it cleverly.
Cleverly, yeah, there we go.
So some players will be outstanding, and other players maybe like they just scrape the surface, maybe. But my goalkeeper is Alisson. You know, I imagine Liverpool this season are going to keep a clean sheet, so a good clean sheet. don't know. Like, there's not much difference in the goalkeeper prices, so I wouldn't have gone with Henderson because
Goalkeepers are a funny one, right? If you're going to play fantasy league, you need a goalkeeper that's around 4 or 4.5 rather than 6
yeah.
because you're not guaranteed clean sheets, you know?
Hmm.
Same with the defenders. So I've gone quite cheap for my defenders slash goalkeeper selection.
Hmm. But I think does it base them off some goals they score as well, or like
Oh yeah,
how many tackles they
all the
win?
stats like clean sheets, goals scored, goals conceded.
Yeah.
You know, you get minus points if you concede goals,
Hmm. So
or get yellow cards or red cards.
Yeah, true. Who have you got as your goalkeeper?
Well, I've got Martinez from Arsenal,
Good choice,
who I
actually.
think really is on the verge of being a world-class keeper now.
Hmm.
Considering he's been at the club since about 2011, and he's never really got a chance to shine.
Hmm. Do you think they can?
But since lockdown resumed and Leno got injured, he's been unbelievable. Although I feel like I might regret choosing Martinez because there are rumours that he's actually going to go in the
Right.
summer because he's
Yeah.
not guaranteed first team football, is what Arteta said. So fingers crossed that won't happen because I really do want to keep him.
The good
But
thing,
he's who I've
yeah.
gone with in goal anyway.
The good thing about this fantasy football league is that it's you get to do changes each week, I believe. So if a player gets injured or something like that, you have the chance to swap them out. So that's not too bad. And you got people on the bench as well that you can put in. So anyway,
So your defence. Let's go through your whole defence just so we don't dawdle on one
yeah,
each player individually.
I'll just do like a little statement for each player. So the first defender, I've got Van Dijk. Who else?
I also have Van Dijk.
Yeah, Van Dijk is just a no-brainer, and he's the best defender Liverpool has. For the second one, I've got Marcos Alonso, because Marcos Alonso not only is a good defender, but he's also good at attacking up the pitch as well.
He's good at scoring goals, but he can be a bit of a liability, I think.
Yeah, so it mainly depends really, but I kind of wanted to pick him over Azpilicueta for that reason. Then I've gone for Nathan Ake. This is a bit of a risky one because he's only just joined Man City, but based on his performance for Bournemouth and the sort of coaching he can get from Man City's defenders and stuff like that,
That's an interesting shout, Nathan Ake. Do you think he'll even play?
Actually, now that you mention it, possibly. I mean, who have Man City got? They've got Laporte, who they're definitely going to keep on the first.
John Stones.
And John, yeah, okay, he's going to play. I think John Stones would
shout
be on
out
the
to
verge
John
of
Stones,
leaving.
who is my cousin's cousin.
Oh, that's some useful information.
So I always have a soft spot for how well he's doing.
Yeah.
So I've gone for
Sorry,
Van
I've got
Dijk
one more.
as well.
Oh yeah, I've got one more as well because I've got 4 defenders. So my last one is Rudiger.
Ah, yes, nice. Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone for Van Dijk, Soyuncu from Leicester, who I think is good player, good stats. I basically pick all my players based on stats. I don't really know about how well they play and things like that, but I think he had good stats for last season, so I've gone with him.
Mm-hmm.
Cody from Wolves. I believe he's a right back. I could be wrong.
But Wolves, they did have a good clean sheet last season, so and especially
they're a great team, Wolves.
Yeah, Shane they'll probably be missing Doherty. Sorry guys, but it's got to be done.
Yeah. Yes. See, yes, Connor Cody, and he was at Liverpool for a while.
Okay. People just
he's Wolves club captain as well, so he's going to start probably every game as well. So there's my logic right there.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how people buy Liverpool's like reserve players and then they just turn into absolute beasts in other teams, like Danny Ings, for example.
Yeah, I know Danny Ings. I have him up front incidentally, but yeah, to round off my defence, Lewis Dunk.
Good choice. Yeah.
From Brighton, who I think is he's decent return for a Brighton defender who, they're on the verge of relegation, yet he was still bringing me in the points. And finally, Eric Peters from Burnley. who had a decent assist and clean sheet record last season, so he rounds it off. But he was very cheap as well.
Yeah.
So
For where
that's what
Burnley
I've gone
ended
for.
up, they did keep a relatively good clean sheet when it came to like the lesser teams in the Premier League. So, yeah, not too bad.
So midfield, who have you got in midfield?
Right, so I started with Yuri Tielemans from Leicester. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he can do some wonders this season. Then I've got the mighty Bruno Fernandes. I think he's been a saving grace for Man United this season, last season I should say. Then I've got one that is another risky one because I don't like he's won a lot of tackles last season, but we'll see how he fares. And that's Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. He's relatively cheap, so he was a good option to go with to exceed his potential. And then I've gone with Jorginho.
Oh, that's an interesting midfield, mate. It's interesting how some of these players are labelled as midfielders, though.
Yeah, like Son is labelled as a midfielder.
I wouldn't consider Fernandes a midfielder. I think he's a forward, isn't he?
I think he's a cam.
Oh right, he plays in the hole. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have our new Chelsea reject wonder, Willian.
Oh.
Because I do think he'll start where Ozil is meant to be starting.
Mm-hmm.
In more or less the same position.
Which Ozil play? Is he in the centre or is he?
I don't really know. Really, I think he's a fantastic player, though, as old as he might be. He's going to be main provider for my other midfield choice. I have no idea why he's in midfield because he's an out-and-out striker. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, just the obvious choice.
Brilliant, yeah.
For me,
I think he's just going to be. Yeah, like he in terms of Arsenal, he's the one that scores the majority of the goals.
He is by far our best player.
Yeah.
No questions asked. It's not even close. And I hope we can hang on to him for this next season. Traore from Wolves. I've gone very Wolves heavy actually in this team.
Yeah.
But I think they're a fantastic side, with a great manager.
And Traore is he's just a beast down that.
He is a beast. He was a standout for me last season.
Those legs, man. Those bloody legs.
And Moutinho from Wolves.
2 in the midfield. Okay.
Again, another Wolves player. Great Wolves player. Got 7 assists last season, which is not a bad return. And Charlie Barnes from Leicester.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, another with potential. But you see what I've done? I've kind of tried to space it out kind of evenly. So there's not really that many superstars.
Yeah.
In my team.
Like I've gone on stats, but I've also kind of left a bit of room because stats can change so easily in football compared to other sports. Like you could have a player like score a hat trick in one game and then just underperform in the next. Just look at Dele Alli for example.
Defo. So your forward line,
right? So
who have you got up front?
Who else but Harry Kane?
Of course.
Like if he doesn't get injured this season, I think he's just going to score an absolute cluster of goals.
As much as it hurts me to pick a Spurs player, because generally my rule has always been in the last 3 seasons, absolutely no Spurs players under any circumstances. I had to go with Harry Kane this season.
I mean, he plays for your national team anyway, so I guess he can get some love on that front. Unless you,
I'll probably bring Son in as well, depending on which one of them gets on the right foot. But Harry Kane's always struggled in the first couple of fixtures of the season. He takes a while to get going, what
I've seen from Spurs as of late is Harry Kane has had to step back a bit because there's not enough to cover. There hasn't been enough to cover the midfield, so that's why you see the stats where Harry Kane is like, he's not up front enough. Now he's heading back because Spurs as a side, because they haven't got enough pressing. Especially in the last quarter of things, he's had to step back in the pitch. But I think now we've got plenty of people to cover the defense now, so we can have more people pressing up. So I think Kane, that would benefit Kane massively in that sense. So I think he'd be good. And the second striker I've got is Anthony Martial.
Interesting.
I think Martial, shined at the end of last season, and if he continues as a striker, then I think he's going to get a lot of chances to score and win the ball a lot and things like
He's
that.
a good player. Low key, he's a good player. He doesn't. You won't have a massive goals return from him, but I think he is a decent centre forward.
Yeah, this was like mainly based on budget. He was what I could afford in that high bracket.
Of course. And who are your other ones then?
Who did you go with your second striker?
Oh yeah, sorry. I went with Danny Ings, the aforementioned Danny Ings, because I just think his goal return, considering where he was at Liverpool and where he is now, is ridiculous. He got 22 goals last season.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Remarkable return, really.
Mm-hmm.
Considering Southampton, they didn't have the greatest of seasons. I mean, they lost 9-0 to Leicester.
Yeah, that was.
But he was the shining light in that Southampton team, so I've gone for him. Neil Maupay from Brighton.
You've got him on the bench, have you?
No, I'm playing a front three. I've gone for a 3-4-3 formation.
Yeah, I just thought I kept it the same as a standard 4-4-2 because a lot of the midfield players should be striker players, but they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Then again, I've got 4 strikers actually, if you include Aubameyang. But Neil Maupay again, relatively cheap for a striker. Had a good debut season.
Yeah.
For Brighton last season, 10 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah.
So he's in there, and rounding it off is. Oh no, that's everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
And I forgot to mention my backup keeper, which was Ryan from Brighton.
Okay.
So I've gone Brighton heavy as well, which is surprising to me considering they were in the relegation scrap. But I do like watching him play.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and plus they're a massive bogey team of ours. Whenever we play them, we always lose.
I think for us, who is it for us? I think everyone. It can be Newcastle at times because I think.
Did you have any strikers on your bench?
Yes, but before I say that, we were one of the only 2 teams to have Joe Linton score against us. That has got to be shocking. No. That is what I'm most pissed off about.
He is pony and trap, isn't he?
Yeah.
Joe Linton.
They're desperately in need of a new striker in Newcastle. But anyway, so my fantasy league subs. So my other goalkeeper is Leno. So
good choice.
Yeah. Then I've got Fabinho. I think Fabinho is a very surprising player at times, like especially in his performance against Man City.
Not the first name that comes to mind when you think of the Liverpool defenders. He's like the Godfather 3 of the Liverpool back line.
Yeah. So I thought he was interesting to keep on the bench until someone else comes in. Then I've got a bit of a weird one, just again to save budget. But if they're saying that they're going to use him more this season, so I hope they keep to that. But I've got Ryan Sessegnon.
For Spurs, right? Yeah, he's a weird one. I thought he was going to play an integral role last season for you because I thought he was fantastic at Fulham.
Yeah,
and then you bought him and he hasn't really done anything.
He was injured at the start, and then we used him against Bayern, and he was the one. Well, besides from Harry Kane, he was the one person to score against Bayern, which is surprising in that. And in the preseason so far, he's been exceptional. So I'm hoping that because of that, he gets more chance to play. And if they do use Kane and Son up front, and then Sessegnon on the wing, I think that could be a good strategy to play, if I may say so.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of fun anyway, this fantasy lark. So again, if you do want to join, Kieran's going to put the link to join my fantasy league in the Discord, and also probably on the YouTube video of this once we get this up on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
And got one more sub.
One more thing.
I've got my final sub is Lacazette.
Oh yes. Well, that's an interesting one. You see, I'm not sure if he's going to stick around for us this season.
No,
and he didn't have the best times of it last season. He was struggling. He had various really long dry spells.
I don't know. I think I must have based that one off his performance against Spurs when he played against us the first time.
That one brilliant goal that we scored against you.
Yeah.
Even though that's a highlight of his year. To be honest, he's done very little else.